an investment is really a deposit of time and money, because you're investing your time, you're investing your money in something. And we want results, right? So you want results from that investment. And in a company, in your business, the results don't necessarily have to be revenue. Welcome to the follow through. Every episode, we dive into the challenges, opportunities, and strategies that help business owners save time, reduce stress, and grow. Let's jump in. So today, I want to speak a little bit about and talk a little bit about, on Monday, let me just rewind here. On Monday, I touched on that winter checklist, right? Those winter projects that build up. And I keep saying winter projects, but I keep calling them winter projects because when I was a pond builder myself, the winter came and the projects just piled up. And every company has like a downtime, and I kind of touched on this on Monday, and those winter projects build up. Or those projects during your downtime, you have this list of projects that you want to get done. And it becomes this long to-do list. And today, what I really want to do is turn this list, this wish list, this to-do list, and change kind of the way we think about it, right? Instead of looking at it as this long to-do list, these things I need to get done, these things I need to implement, let's reframe it a little bit and really look at them not as a to-do list, but more as investments. Investments in your company, investments in you if need be, investments into your team, and not this list that has to get done and has to be completed. And really even investments into your clients and your clients' experience. So as we move along, reframing and thinking about this stuff in a different way. So it's not a to-do list, it's an investment, and it's an investment in your company. So as what is an investment, and what does an investment actually mean for your business? What does it actually, from a business standpoint, what does an investment actually mean, and what does it represent? So an investment overall, and when we think of investments, we think of investing our money in something and getting a return. Ooh, man. So an investment, sorry, I've really got something in my throat here. An investment, and I just lost my train of thought. So an investment is typically an investment of money into a vehicle, a way to get a return on your money, right? So in a company, in your business, an investment is really a deposit of time and money, because you're investing your time, you're investing your money in something. And we want results, right? So you want results from that investment. And in a company, in your business, the results don't necessarily have to be revenue. While the end game is revenue in it, your investment and your return could be time saved. It could be smoother systems for you, your team, and your clients. And it could also be a return of less friction for your clients, less friction for you, less friction in your processes, less friction for your team. At the end of the day, what it needs to do, and whatever you choose to do, and whatever you choose to invest in your company, and those tools you decide to add, it needs to pay you back some way. And like I said, again, repeating, it needs to pay you back some way. So it needs to pay you back in time, revenue, smoother systems, less friction, easier processes for your team and for you. So if it's not producing a return, and whatever you decide to invest in, if it's not producing a return, it wasn't an investment at all. It turns into an expense. So whatever we decide and how you look at that to-do list and decide what to do, you need to think about it and reframe how you're thinking about it. Is this a good investment in my company? Is this going to save me time? Is it going to help me create smoother systems, less friction? Is it going to help my team? Is it going to help me? How is it going to benefit my company? Not looking at it as, oh, this is a new flashy project, new flashy thing that I want to try and do. So think about that. Start looking at your list and thinking about it as an investment, not as a to-do list. So, as mentioned on Monday, though, just like any investments, we always try to do too much at once. Not like all investments, but in the investment world, if you try and take your money and diversify it over 100 different avenues at the same time, or maybe even 10 different avenues at the same time, you're not going to see the results you want to see. You want to do a couple at a time and then compound and add to it. It's the same thing with adding things, with adding systems, processes, adding softwares, adding new ideas, adding new marketing channels, adding new marketing ideas. It's the same thing. You don't want to do 15 or 20 things all at once because you're going to spread yourself too thin. I've done it. And when that happens, you get frustrated because none of them really, some of them kind of work, but they don't work really well because you're trying to do too much at once. I catch myself, sometimes I still catch myself doing it. Like when I was doing the pond business stuff, the winters would come and I would have a list of like 30 things. I was like, I can get all this done. I have like 2 months. And I would try to get like 30 things implemented, and it was a complete shit show. Some of them would get done. Maybe they get done half ass, and then some of them just wouldn't get done at all. And I feel like you look back on your winter like, man, I really only got one of those things done really well because I was trying to do 8,000 other things at the same time. So don't try and invest and put your time and money into a ton of things at once. We really want to break it down to just a couple of things that you can really invest your time and money in, double down on, and really get things moving so that you can implement those things at a high level. So then they will start compounding and you'll start seeing results because you're spending the time and you're putting the time and energy into whatever you decide it might be to make it work for you and really, really provide that return that you're looking for. So when you start doing these things and you break it down and you break down a couple of things that you really want to do, you'll start seeing that compounding effect. And just like investments, over time, you put the time in, just like a true investment where you're trying to increase your money and your revenue. In your personal life, you put money in once a month. You're putting money in once a month, and you can see it start to compound over time. It's the same thing with this to-do list or this investment list that you have in your company. You start with one thing and you start depositing into it, and you start seeing the results over time. So, but you can't do that if you're doing like 30 things at the same time, because you're only putting a little bit over here, a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. And it takes you longer to actually see the effects and see the return on your investment that you have. So if you take that list from 30, bring it down to a few, you're going to see the results and the compounding of it much faster because you're dumping more time and money into it. And you can see the results much faster than doing a bunch at the same time. So this happened to me and a couple, like, I don't even know, years back, in the pond company, I happened to, hear Marcus Sheridan speaking, and he talks about answering questions on your website. And what I started doing that on my website from a blog standpoint. I started answering all kinds of questions, from a pond industry, questions all the way from like examples, like when do you start feeding your fish, all the way to do your fish sleep in the winter, like crazy weird questions that I was answering. And I started doing that via video and then brought it into blogging and then also started doing the email, but I didn't do all three at once. I started the videos, then I started doing the blogs, like matching the blogs to my videos, and then I started using email to get those videos out. And I started seeing some traction with the videos, then the blogging, then the emails, and I didn't see results right away. I still saw slow results, but I saw the results and I saw the value in it because I was all in on the videos. I started seeing results. Then I started all in on the emails, and then, on the blogging. And then I started intertwining it with my email marketing. So the crazy thing about it was I continued to do it, started seeing results, and then all of a sudden what happened is it started compounding. And even to this day, my website is still up, and the company that purchased me is still using my website to bring in leads, but it still has traction. And my point of this is anything you do is going to compound over time, but you have to be consistent with it. Get little tiny wins, because in the beginning, you're not going to see the results of it. And then as you start moving, and it starts going along, it's going to compound. You're going to see results. So anything you do, you start putting that time and effort into it, it's going to compound. And the point of this is, again, if you're doing 30 of these things, you don't have the time, the resources to dump in to see those results at first. And a lot of times you end up quitting. You stop doing it. And you've put all this time and money, or you've put some time and money into it, but then you lost all of that time and money that you put into it because you quit. So you need to put your time and effort into something long enough to see the actual results of it. And if you don't put enough time and money into it, you're not even going to see the results. You're going to get frustrated by it, and then you're going to quit. So, which brings us into like diversifying. Like if you diversify into investments in real life too early and too many of them, it's going to kill your results because you're not going to see the value in it, and you're going to end up and bringing this back into business. You're not going to see the value of it, and you're going to switch too fast. You're going to stop doing it. You're going to add something new and quit that before the one that you started may have started working, because you might just be at that brink to where it starts working, and now you changed, and now you just lost all that time and effort that you put into it, and you don't know. You need to keep moving, and don't change the direction too fast. If you, for example, let's say this winter you decide you want to start doing postcards, emails, and I don't know, something else. Maybe those are your three things. And you send out that postcard, and you send out that postcard that first time, and you don't get any results. Don't stop doing it. You need to do things consistently over time, and you need to see you need to give it a chance to work. If you don't give it a chance to work, you just wasted all that time creating that postcard, mailing it out, finding your list, and then just waiting for people to call you. Keep moving with it and do it again and again and again and again. Clearly, you need to come up with a point to where you can see it's not working. But if you're just doing something once and you don't see the value in it one time, and then you move on, you just wasted all that time you spent to get that thing out that one time. So if you, when you're choosing these items that you want to do, and you have too many of them, I've said this over and over again, I just feel like it needs to just be drilled in. The amount of effort you put in is the amount of effort you're going to get out. So if you're only putting, like, I don't know, 50% effort into something or 25% effort, you're only getting it at 25% out. So again, if you're doing 30 or 40 of these things, or even 10 or 15, and trying to implement 10 or 15 things over the wintertime, you're not putting enough effort into any of them to really get the results you want. So you really need to scale down your list, figure out which ones are the ones you need to do, which ones fit your goals for the year or your goals for your company, and then really hit them hard. So it's a great question, Jay. Good morning, Jay. When do you call it quits? And I don't know if that is a question that I can really answer on here. It depends on what you're trying to do, I feel like, and what you're implementing, right? And you really need to look back on it and see how much effort you've actually put into it. Have you put enough effort into it to even give you the results that you're trying to look at? And I think that is really a case-by-case basis. And when you're figuring out what you want to do, you almost need to figure that out and say, hey, we're going to try this for X number of months or X number of years. And if we don't see results from it, we're going to pivot and try something else. So I hope that makes sense, Jay. I don't think there's an answer that I can give you to say, okay, you should call it quits now. I think that the answer depends on what you're trying to do, what your long game is, and even data that you can see from other companies that have tried doing the same thing you're doing. So I know I didn't answer your question outright, but I hope that kind of makes sense and helps answer your question, Jay. So again, today was about reframing your mindset, and I'm just going to kind of recap a little bit. So those to-do lists, those things you want to implement in your company, those new strategies you want to enter, those strategies you want to implement into your company. Create the list. And tomorrow we're going to talk about kind of how you can break down your list and try and decide which ones you should start implementing into your company and breaking those lists down. Hey, Darren, good morning, man. Thanks for joining. So today was all about reframing your mindset and taking those lists, taking those strategies you want to implement, and don't look at it as a to-do list. Look at those things as investments. Are they going to save me time? Are they going to make me money? Are they going to increase my revenue? And once you do that and flip your brain and flip your mindset on it, it will going to make it so much easier for you to figure out and decide which ones you need to implement. And that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. How can you take that list of 30 things and break it down to 2 or 3 that you need to double down on and do today, starting in the new year? So thanks for joining me, everybody. Have a great new year tonight. Have a great day tomorrow, and I'll see everybody on Friday. Before you go, if you want to learn more about what we're all about, head on over to kairocx.com. You can reach out to us there or just dig in and learn more about how we can help businesses and help businesses like yours at Kairo CX. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on The Follow Through.